Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Doha Heat Podcast. Today is a very special episode. We are collaborating with Qatar Foundation for their convocation. So their students are going to be graduating next week.
Yeah, pretty much.
Next week. So it's a very fun, emotional time, I guess. So we're going to be talking to two really talented students from Qatar Foundation, which last year I graduated from. So yeah. Anusheh Zaman, she's going to be graduating from Virginia Commonwealth University, and Mohammad Almansouri is going to be graduating from Texas A&M. So, Anusheh, ladies first, do you want to talk a little bit about yourself? What brought you to Qatar? And, yeah.
Okay, of course. Thanks, Ifat. First, I just want to say I'm really excited to be here. I always wanted to be part of a podcast.
I'm
thank
glad.
you guys. I feel like I'm very cool. I feel like I'm a cool person to be here.
You are
cool. Thank you. Going back to your question when you said that, what inspired me and what really encouraged me to apply for VCU, which is part of Qatar Foundation.
I asked you what brought you to Qatar.
What brought you? Well, what brought me to Qatar? Well, it's kind of a long story. I'll make it short. I was actually born here, and then I lived here for 5 years, and my dad works for Qatar Airways, so we got posted to different stations. And then, obviously, when I was applying for university, what really inspired me was the program. Art history. So art and history are two different subjects that I'm really passionate about, and I was really excited to see that VCU in Qatar had a program, had to offer a program like that. So yeah, and at that time we were posted in Sri Lanka, so my parents wanted me to be somewhere that was close, and I also wanted to be somewhere that was close by, so it was like pretty much hitting two birds with one stone. So.
That's awesome. What about you? I mean, I'm pretty sure you were born here too.
Yeah. So, do you want to hear my story for why I joined the Qatar Foundation?
Yeah, sure.
Texas?
Yeah.
Okay, so we had many opportunities. I don't want to bring names of other universities, but the reason I chose Kiev is that I wanted to graduate from a place that is hopefully or inshallah going to give me unlimited opportunities in the future. So when you join other universities, you usually obtain or acquire just the scientific knowledge. But in Kiev, you acquire both the scientific and the experience from the same place.
Yeah.
So as a student from Texas or as a graduate from Texas, I can gladly say that I gained my scientific knowledge from the university, but I helped or worked with many other departments in Kiev, and alhamdulillah, I was able to acquire many skills that I know I would have never been able to gain them in any other university. So that's the main reason I joined Kiev.
Okay, that's awesome. What about you? You said art. What is your program? Sorry.
Okay, so I'm an electrical and computer engineering student, graduate by now, and yeah.
Electrical and computer engineering. Yes. I wish I knew what that meant.
You're actually the first electrical and computer engineering major I've ever met. Most of the people that I met or know are either mechanical or chemical. So
okay,
yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
That's great. So tell me a little bit about your major, art history, and how, what. I mean, I honestly, I'm sorry, but I really don't know much about
No, you're not the first one, so it's okay.
Yeah, because usually when you hear about VCU students, you hear about fashion design or graphic design or something similar.
Yeah.
So what are you doing?
Okay.
What do you study? What are your projects and all of that?
Well, firstly, it's a very new program. It's one of our most recent programs. I mean, our first graduating class for art history was the class of 2016. And it has a bit of a focus on Islamic art. So in my freshman year, all art history and art foundation students, they have to do an art history survey, which is basically you go through an overview of art in Egypt before in the earliest civilizations, and then you kind of progress towards that, and then until you go to the 80s and then into the contemporary. And then as it progresses, we kind of study more relation about Islamic art, but also on a global context. So in relationship with the West. And most of the classes, the current class that I'm taking on, which focuses on Islamic art, it's about modern Arab art and contemporary art. So basically, how did political and social ideals, are being integrated into art. And we also take other classes like global contemporary art and museums in the 21st century. And you know, that really inspired me to work in the museum. And as much as I love museums and I love, you know, and I would love to work for them, but institutional critique really inspires me, because it's like, you know how you're looking at two sides of a coin. You're like, well, museums have this kind of narrative, but then institutional critique is like, well, no, you like this, or you're telling the wrong story. And that kind of prompted me to become a curator and hopefully, you know, create a bigger platform for South Asian art, because I don't think there's a much big of a platform for that. So I really, you know, want to do that. And I think the courses that I learned really inspired me to do that. Currently, I'm actually also doing an independent research on Sinan, Michelangelo, and Palladio, and exploring the similarities between their architecture, but also exploring that why Sinan was not as much glorified as much as Michelangelo and Palladio. So when you look at Sinan, he's like, oh, well, he's Michelangelo's contemporary, but why isn't Michelangelo or Palladio considered to be Sinan's contemporary? So we kind of like explore into that. But also, since we're in an art school, so it's not, I just don't do everything theoretically or do lectures. We have to take studio electives. So I did photography, and I also did darkroom. So you do film photography. So in some part of my undergrad, I was kind of like, maybe I could do something with history of photography.
Oh,
so
wow,
yeah.
Sounds beautiful.
Trying to keep all my options open.
That's what you have to do.
Yeah, pretty
when
much.
you're graduating. What about you? Tell me a little bit about your major.
Okay,
and I'll pretend like I'm interested.
Okay,
Just kidding.
So hopefully I'm going to try to make you interested in the major. So many people think electrical engineering is all about circuits and electricity. So there are two paths in electrical engineering. Either you take the path of power, which is about circuits, as you know it, or the path of communication, and this is where I'm from. So I study communication. So we studied about digital communication systems, signals, blah, 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 all of these things. What could be interesting is the cybersecurity part. We focus on cybersecurity, trying to create systems that either blocks or hack other systems.
Okay.
So this might be kind of interesting for some people. So for me in my senior design, we focused on creating a decoder in the communication system that uses neural networks. So I'm going to explain it again. I don't know if you're aware of artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
So there are three forms. The first one is artificial intelligence, which is basically creating a basic robot that just moves items. The updated version of artificial intelligence was called machine learning, such as Siri in your iPhone. So it talks with you, it just engages with you. The third version, or the newer update of all of these technologies, is called the neural networks. So you give it the opportunity to think and make decisions.
Oh, wow.
So for example, say that you ask Siri to play a specific song for 2 times. If you for now, she's going to play it as long as you want it. But if you apply the concept of neural network, it's going to tell you had enough. So yeah, that's the thing.
Wow.
Yeah. So
It's going to control me.
That's scary.
So that's what we built. We built a decoder. So that's, the decoder, the receiver part of the communication system that uses neural networks. So for example, when you're on a call with someone and say that you're used, for example, when you're driving and you go under a tunnel or you go far away from Doha, the signal is going to interrupt. So this decoder learns by itself. It's going to change your receiver or change your carrier for your phone calls and so on. So that's the senior design project.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So we already have human beings controlling us, and now
Yes.
we're gonna have. That's great.
It kind of reminds me
feel
of
great
the
about
film.
my life.
I don't know, have you seen Will Smith's I, Robot?
No.
It kind of reminds me of that, and that's pretty scary.
I mean, everything he says reminds me of like Black Mirror.
Oh yeah, that
Yeah.
too. That too.
Yeah.
So there is this fear of technology overcoming, being oversmarting us, but we always have this motto that whoever is going to control this technology must be smarter than it. So
Yeah. So we have to be
that's why they make us study
always
the whole
strive
time.
to be smarter. Gotcha. Okay. So now that you guys know what both of you do, like what were the stereotypes that you had about like VCU, for example, and what did you have about, because you are a very like technical scientific sort of field, and you are sort of like liberal arts history kind of field, so like it's polar opposites. Trust me, because I've done both. Like when I was in high school, I only studied science because Indian family, and then I was a rebel in the family, so I chose journalism. So I've done both sides of it, and you have to pick one. Like I had to pick one. So tell me, what were the stereotypes or like whatever? What did you think about VCU students?
Okay, so before we met VCU students, we had the stereotypes that they were all funky, as I said like before this podcast. So they were all funky, chill. Like they were. What do you call it in English? Like they were up to earth, I think that's what they call it.
Down to
earth.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. So they had a better environment that we did. They were happy students. So, but then when we met them, the first stereotype was, okay, it was correct. They were funkier than us, but they had their own stress with their studies, just as we did.
What about you?
I'm actually going to be honest. I never had a perception of Texas students. Like, I'm actually going to be honest.
I feel like Texas is very neutral.
So it's like
like in the middle somewhere.
Because it's like how do I say this? It's like, okay, I met Mohammad and I'm like, okay, he's chill, but then I'm gonna meet someone else and they're gonna be completely the opposite, which is why I think it's like difficult to decide what kind of
but that's what stereotypes are. Stop
I'm
spoiling it.
I'm not spoiling it. I'm actually serious. It's like I never thought that.
Okay,
you know.
I'll tell my stereotypes then of
Okay,
every
fine.
university. I mean, I'm from Northwestern, and everybody always thought that Northwestern students just have fun and that's it. Like we don't study, we are there because we like suck at studying. That's what everyone used to think. So every time I ever told someone I go to Northwestern, I immediately see a drop in respect for me. But then like you said, they have to see what we're doing to know like how stressful and crazy it can get.
Yeah.
So Texas students, like, I mean, you guys are super neutral. Like, nobody has an opinion about you. I'm sorry.
Except for Cornell.
No, literally.
Yeah.
I mean, I have opinions about other universities, but let's not talk about that.
Yeah. Me too. But yeah, you guys are like you're like in the middle. Like Cornell is the university where they teach medicine, for listeners who don't know.
And they're practically studying all the time.
Yeah.
Like all the time.
Even in Texas, like we do take lots of liberal arts courses. I mean, they're around 50% of our curriculum, so we're engaging with the other students, and there are lots of collaborations. Like some of our students, they already take lots of classes in VCU. I think art history.
They do. Yeah, art history.
They always take that course.
Yeah.
I think they're pretty engaging with everyone else.
Yeah, I guess.
But there were other people who used to think that we're really serious in the university, and I think it's true, but depending when. So when you're visiting us during the senior designs or the finals exams week, so you're gonna see that.
Yeah, and we usually don't see Texas students anywhere for anything. That's why we don't have any opinions about you. But we see like other universities are always like engaging, but then there's Cornell and Texas that they don't really.
I mean, I think Texas are pretty engaging. It's just I think the.
But you know the group that engages. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. But then also, if you notice, it's like it's opposite the student center, so it's like where all like the food places are. So it's like if you want to see Texas students, I would say the best time to go is like lunchtime, because then you're kind of like, okay, Texas people.
Yeah,
exist.
true. Okay, moving on. What were both of your biggest achievements coming from Qatar Foundation, Education City, whatever, in your university, outside university? Who wants to start? Who wants to start showing off?
Well, I have a lot of achievements. I'm just kidding. Okay, I would say I would highlight 3.
Mm-hmm.
The first one I would say is being part of the honors program. So VCU is, I would say, the only institute in QF which kind of has its own honors program, because we have like our own honors college in Richmond, so where you take specific courses and honors courses. Right now they also added the experiential learning project, so I just completed that and I have to submit that tonight too, which is basically a project that you're interested about anything which is outside the classroom, and I did mine on theater and leadership. So I felt that was.
So what is this honors program?
Meaning?
Like what? Like why are you doing this? I mean, I don't know. Like how
so
are students selected or?
So you go through an application like how everyone else is in Richmond, and it's pretty competitive too, because it's like you have to write an essay and you have to really convince and pitch, and it's like, well, I need to be challenged more, and I feel like that in the current curriculum that I'm doing, I don't feel like I'm learning something new or learning something that's like inspiring, and I think the honors program will help me push me into doing that. and you have to, I think you need 2 recommendations, and then they need your transcript. I think you need 3.6 and above in order to apply. And for here, it's like a joint evaluation. So Jesse, who handles the honors program here, he evaluates, and then so does Richmond.
And how many students usually get to do it from Qatar campus?
So before, it used to be very, 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 very tough. Yeah, very competitive. But now I think they want to encourage more students to be part of it, so they opened up more spaces. Currently, I think for a class of 2019, there are 4 honor students.
That's still competitive.
Yeah.
Because how many people are in your class?
60.
Okay,
70.
then that is still pretty competitive.
It is competitive.
Yeah.
I think it's also because, I think also a lot of people think that being part of the honors program is a lot of work, where it actually isn't. You get to decide the work that you want to do.
So what extra work do you do apart from like the
the dossier. So we kind of have 2 graduation applications. It's not just one. So you have to write a dossier which reflects on your life as an undergrad student in VCU, and Jesse doesn't evaluate that. Richmond evaluates that. So it's based on, and so they pass you, or like they ask you to review it and then give another copy, and then again the ELP. So it's like, so I think because of that, and then also like when you're doing honors courses, it's kind of like your final assignment is a bit different and a bit challenging than what everyone else is doing. So I think that kind of like holds people back, and maybe they feel like, okay, maybe I shouldn't be part of the honors program, but actually they should, because they form a much closer relationship with the professor that they're working with. And they get to do things that they're actually really passionate
about.
What
about your other achievements?
So my second achievement was I got to go to Japan, and that too on a dean's grant. So art history and painting and printmaking, which is another department in VCU. So they did an interdisciplinary trip to Japan, because we had a class called Arts of Japan, and that was like, we did a trip following that, and they were offering a grant for 10 students, and I really, really wanted to go, especially it was the time of the cherry blossom season. I mean, Japan is fabulous anytime you go, but that is when people say when to go, that is the time to go. And that also happens for like 20 days. So that's why it's like more, it's good.
Exciting. It's usually most trips are like a week or 10 days.
So it was more exciting. So when I applied and I got to know that I got the grant, I felt really happy and really excited.
What did you do in Japan?
So we went to Tokyo. We looked at a lot of art galleries there. I went to the Yayoi Kusama exhibition, so we got to see the Infinity Room.
I love that.
I love that. And what I appreciate about Japanese museums is that they don't let you take pictures of all of the exhibits and the art pieces there. And I think that makes you appreciate the artwork more. So
because
I really liked that. And then we went to Kyoto, and then Hiroshima. So we saw the Hiroshima bomb sites, and it's so beautiful. I think Hiroshima was my favorite place out of all of the 3 places. So my third one is becoming Sga President. I think,
which is you have to explain, because our audience does not.
Yeah, okay. So pretty much most of the universities here, we have the student government, which is a platform where students can come and raise concerns, or also to engage the community. So I was part of the SGA since in my freshman year. So I was the secretary, and I think I was also the secretary in my second year. And then I was encouraged by a lot of people to run for president in my junior year, and I did, and the campaign worked, and I got to.
So what did you do? Like I know usually it's just like taking care of student concerns, organizing events, everything. But how has that helped you grow?
That's a difficult question.
Okay, we'll get back to that.
It's like,
think about it.
I don't want to waste a lot of time.
Think about it while I talk to Mohammad. By the way, guys, she's been mentioning Richmond. So basically, most of Qatar Foundation universities have a main campus, and they're international universities that have another campus in Qatar. So like Northwestern has a campus in Chicago, in Evanston, which is in Illinois. VCU has a campus in Richmond. Texas has a campus in Texas. So you want to talk about your achievements?
Okay, so I'm gonna try to compete with that.
Oh gosh.
So,
Let's see.
No
yeah.
pressure, no pressure.
So I have been the president of the Qatari Students Association for the past 2 years. So we tried to make this organization in our university different compared to the other campuses. So it was a really small organization at the beginning. So I insisted that it needed to grow and develop, and I did not want it to just be limited to just an event planning organization.
Yeah,
So the number of the members grew from around 20 to 100 members for now. So, and the scale of the events grew from doing like small scaled events to big ones. So we brought the people together in our university.
In the community, yeah.
Yeah, and then we tried to expand this through uniting the other QSAs, our counterparts in Education City.
Yeah.
And we succeeded in doing the Education City United event, the National Day event, twice with
You guys
Kiev.
have done that.
Yeah.
That is a beautiful
Did you
event.
attend the event or?
Yes, of course. I'm not saying that.
Yeah, no,
Yes,
that was
it's-
a collaboration with VCU and
Yes.
quite a few universities.
Yes.
Yeah, it was amazing.
It was
So
amazing, but I didn't know you
Yeah.
guys had like initiated it.
It was an invitation from Texas, but all of the other universities worked together for the events. So we don't want anyone just taking credit like, on their own. Everyone worked together as a team. So and we were lucky that everyone responded to the collaboration. So for me, how did that help me grow up? Now, when we say that the number of members grow up, it's not just a matter of numbers or just to show off the number of the members, but every member has his own story. As you know, the students in Texas are classified not just into 4 years, but even 5 years. So you have students like they have like 5 years gaps between them. Opposite genders, different mentalities, different cultures, different backgrounds. So when you bring all of them into one meeting, what do you think is gonna happen? Like when they express their opinions. So for me, I've been a punching bag for the last 2 years. So
Yeah,
but
I felt that way too when
yeah.
I was the
So
president.
when you are a president within QSA or in the SGA, and you decide you want to absorb all of this stress, it's gonna help you grow up definitely. Like
Yeah.
it speeds time for you. The experience that you might gain in a working place for two
Yeah.
years, you're gonna gain it in 1 or 2 years only. Did I say two? Sorry. And the experience that you're supposed to gain in 10 years in a workplace, you can get it as a president in 1 or 2 years. So that's the student engagement part. For the academic part, I was happy that I was part of a team where we made something called telecom hospital or portable hospital. So it's not done yet, but we were creating like a portable hospital to decrease the crowd stress in the hospitals
wow.
here.
Wow.
So we made like a device, like a tablet that has all of the needed wires to measure your blood pressure or your heart rate and so on. So we created the technical platform where doctors can visit you, talk to you through video calls, and they can get all of your biomedical signals, biomedical data, and then they're gonna tell you whether your case needs like your visit to the hospital or not. Because you know some people they just visit the hospital and they don't really need it. They might just get their medications from the hospital or anyways.
Nobody likes to go to the
Yes.
hospital. It's very stressful.
So except for
Yeah.
people who are looking for vacations or stuff.
So they like to go-
sick leaves.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So different terms, but
Wow.
we were working on that.
Vacations.
Sorry.
All right.
I was literally translating from Arabic to English. People who are looking
Totally
for sick leaves.
Yeah,
So we're trying to
yeah.
prevent this load from the hospital, so that we can leave it for those who are sincerely needing to go to the hospital. So these are the 2 achievements, and we can get back to you to how did your experience
cool.
let you grow up.
Yeah.
I kind of agree with Mohammad. I felt that after I completed my term as Sga President, I felt that I was more confident. I mean, even when I joined VC, people were like, "Oh, you're confident, mature," but it was just. But then I felt I actually matured, and I felt more confident after I joined, after I completed my term in the SGA, because you interact with all kinds of different people, and then you have this expectation and responsibilities to fulfill.
Yeah.
It's, for QF, for VCU, and, for yourself as well.
Yeah, no, I
So-
agree with you 100% about this, especially, and it's like when you say it raises your confidence, it's not only because I also think the fact that like all of these QF universities like have a very strong liberal arts backing, so it's not just that you're learning the technical details, but you're also learning how to like live in this world in a
Yeah.
way, and I think
I
that
totally
really
agree.
helps like accelerate your I don't know, like it really helps develop your confidence because it's now you can be confident because like you have some like intellectual backing,
Yeah.
like you have knowledge to be confident about even living in this world, you know,
Yeah.
just like basics of like how to be a good human being,
Yeah.
and to know what the world around you is all about. So
And I think what really helped that was because it's such a diverse place. You meet all kinds of different people, and just like simply having a conversation with someone, it really like enlightens you, and you kind of learn something new
Yeah.
every day, and you're also, you know, being part and dealing with all kinds of different
Yeah, I
situations
agree.
and opportunities. So that like really sculpts you into the person that you want to be.
it's very true, because like once I graduated from QF, like, you know, you don't have that kind of multicultural atmosphere around you all the time.
Yeah.
So like I kind of feel so weird when I don't see people from all kinds of cultures around me. If I just see one culture, even if it's like Indians, like a bunch of Indians around me, I will feel so uncomfortable, because I'm not used to like not having like Qataris and Indians and Arabs and Westerners, all of these people with me at the same time,
Yeah.
you know? So yeah, I think it's a weird, it's a weird feeling once you graduate. Good luck. Okay, so what do you plan to do now? What's next?
Okay, so as I said earlier, for me, I'm obliged to go and work in the industry. I'm gonna try to accelerate my confidence there and gain as much experience as I can in the industry.
Yeah.
It's all technical there. I know it's gonna be challenging,
Mhm.
but I'm gonna try to absorb as much experience as I can, because we did gain the social experience from QF, but I need to work on the technical
yeah,
part
yeah,
now.
yeah, of course.
So hopefully, when we all meet together after 10 years from now, it's gonna be exciting to get to know what
It's gonna be exciting.
we did.
Yeah.
Of
No, so
course.
one sec, sorry.
No worries.
So tell me, how does it feel to transition from university to work?
Okay, so at the beginning of this year, at the beginning of the senior year, I was really sad because I finally adapted to the university after 4 years. So I did not want to
Relatable.
become a new boy somewhere else.
Yeah.
But it's gonna happen. So when I finished this year, I think that we absorbed too much information, that we had enough. We just want to go and apply it somewhere else. We wanted to engage with people. We wanted to be heard. We wanted to take decisions and test whether we were learning properly or not.
Yeah.
So all what we can do right now is solve examinations. I mean, we had enough of this. So we want to apply it there.
Yeah.
We want to see if we really learned or not. And even if we did not, we want to fill these
Yeah,
pores or these
yeah,
gaps
yeah,
that
yeah,
we might have. So it's an absolutely amazing feeling that you're graduating. To other people, they might just see it as a normal graduation, so just like when you're graduating from middle school or high school.
Yeah.
But for us, especially the active students, when you have gained a lot, when you have absorbed a lot, you made up an infinite amount of memories.
Yeah,
It's really
there's-
an unbelievable feeling that you're finally graduating.
What about you?
I totally agree with you. I'm super, super excited. I was, like the past 3 weeks, it's just so much is happening, and it really lifts you up, and it really helps you look forward to what the future holds for you. So my future plans are, well, I'm hoping to pursue my master's from UCL at the museum, with the museum and gallery practice program.
So you're doing what you want to do?
Yeah, and I heard it's a very practical program, and I was like, good, that's what I want to do now. It's like I want to learn more practical skills.
Yeah,
so.
that's awesome. I mean, you guys are saying you were excited. Like, I was not at all excited to graduate. I was so sad. I have no, because I feel like, I mean, in those 4 years, you kind of live, it's like the peak of your happiness. I don't, when I was graduating, I was like, I don't know if I'll ever feel this happy ever again. I mean, just you have like-minded people around you all the time, almost 24/7. If you're not in university, you're like thinking about university, or you are talking to people from university. So it was just for me, it was very difficult to transition. I'm glad I'm at a workplace that's like super fun. Otherwise, like it would have been tough. So I don't relate to your excitement, guys.
Well, every person reacts to things differently.
Changes.
Well, we are. I mean, I am sad too, but also I think if I were to stay in VCU longer, I think it would lower the special connection I have with it. I mean, we do have a Masters of Fine Arts program at VCU, and I was encouraged. I was thinking about it too, but then I stopped, and I didn't apply because I was like, well, I want to cherish the 4 years that I've had here, So
Yeah. No, that makes sense. So, any tips for future graduating students or students who want to apply to Qatar Foundation, whatever it is? Anything anything you guys wanna say?
Well, I want to share this incredible advice that was given to me. So we had in March we had a conference called Tasmin, which is an art and design biennial, and I met this incredible artist called Giovanni Inella, super cool Italian designer, living and teaching in Tokyo, want to live that life. And a few friends of mine were having a conversation with him about graduation and plans, and he said, literally, the best advice ever, he said, the best paths are made when you get lost. And I was looking at him and I was like, this is what I need to hear. So I would say that to future graduates and to future students that want to apply in QF, it's like, don't be afraid to expand your boundaries, and a path will be there for you if you get lost. So
yeah. What about you?
So I want to tell both graduating students and the people who will hopefully enroll in Kiev that sky is not
anywhere.
Yeah. Sky is not their limits, but the universe above. So just as she said, like there will always be a path created for you. So you don't need to compare yourself to other individuals. There is always something that is guaranteed for you by the universe. So don't be down, don't be let down by people, don't be stressed, don't be depressed. So okay, you can be depressed if you want, you can be sad for some times, but it's fine.
Thank you for your permission. Just kidding.
Just make sure that whatever stress you're going through doesn't happen for nothing.
Yeah.
Learn from it. Make sure that when you're leaving university, so you don't become sad just like you did. Make sure that you changed. Make sure that you changed and you became someone new.
Yeah.
And repeat the same experience over and over again.
Discover yourself. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys. It was great having you on. Do you have anything else to say? Do you want them to follow your Instagram accounts or anything like that?
It's Anusheh. I also have a dessert blog, so shamelessly advertising myself.
I'll share the blogs. What about you?
I just want to thank everyone who supported all of us during our journeys, both the members that we have worked with and the people who helped us in our studies. I want to thank my friend Saeed Bunora for helping me study through many of my courses. I want to help everyone who pushed me and pushed all of us again when we were down, when we were depressed.
Yeah.
There were lots of stations or lots of points in our journey where we wanted to quit, but people pushed us, including our parents. They told us to just go and face our problems.
Yeah.
So, and we're glad that we did.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
So
you're raising the standards.
Yeah,
of,
I agree with him. It takes like a whole village to become the person that you are. So
No, it's true actually, because last year when I was graduating, they asked us, like in the end of the graduation, they asked us to turn around and look around there. These are the people who are with you throughout the journey, and clap.
And you want to start tearing up and crying, and then
I legitimately cried because I saw my best friends and my family over there, and it made sense, like they've literally pushed me, because if they weren't there, I don't know if I would have done this. So
we should totally do that at the convocation. So either.
Yeah, you can suggest your ideas to your universities.
We will. Hopefully.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for coming. It was a really fun episode.
Thank you, Ifa.
Good luck.
Come
back and share with us all your incredible achievements afterwards.
Don't forget us.
No, you don't forget us. And so I'd love to have you guys back giving us an update on what's going on in your life. Yeah.
Defo.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you guys for listening, and have a great week. See you next week. Bye-bye.